everyone. Welcome to Sunrise Extra. Extra. Glad to have you back. Everyone is here. Drew is back with us this morning. How are you doing this morning? You've had 4 days off of regular sleep.
You notice the difference, I tell you.
Yeah?
You notice the difference. What I do notice when I'm off that many days in a row, four. What do you freaking do? No, 4 is nice. Is that I really can't sleep in. I get into some sort of more regular sleep pattern, but I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't quite tell if it's because of the schedule.
I don't, man.
Or it's because I'm becoming an older man and things are impacting me in the middle of the night. Like
gotta go pee.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta do that. I gotta get up and
every night?
do that.
But you don't just wake up around your alarm time if you're
let me rephrase. Brenda, I do. But it's brief and then I go right.
Do you have the
back.
panic of like,
No.
and then you're like, oh,
well, I have before where I don't. If I'm super tired, I've had that panic moment where you wake up.
What day is it?
Yeah, and you're not sure what day it is, and then you're like. Oh.
I always know it's the weekend.
Oh, it's like the best. It's like snuggled back in.
But I go back to sleep. All right.
So we all wake up around 2, if not sooner.
Yeah.
So do you actually wake up around 2 on your days off and go back to sleep, or no? You can sleep through that hour.
You know what? I do think I sleep through that hour, but I do wake up at night. Just, I don't know, at some point I'll wake up, and on the weekends though I won't check my clock because I don't want to even be
count. I always count. I'm like, I got 4 more. Yeah. So we're talking about sleep because the Today Show is running a story with Carrie Sanders today about what they're calling the golden hour of bedtime, the specific time that we should be going to bed, because studies are showing at these sleep clinics that you have a higher percentage of heart attack and heart issues
and stroke
before and after. Because they took forever to say the actual time, we're going to tell you right up front. It's between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. is the golden hour of bedtime.
Golden hour.
So these sleep studies say if you go to bed after midnight, you have a 25% increased chance of heart health issues, heart attack. If you go to bed before 10 p.m., you have a 24% increased chance.
Time out though. I assume, and tell me if you know the answer, I assume this study primarily looked at people that have normal lives, meaning they sleep at night and they get up sometime in what most people would call early morning, right? That's what they're looking at.
Yes.
So we may live. We don't know yet. The poor people on this desk.
We have super weird sleep schedules.
Okay.
Yeah, so we want to know what's kind of your normal bedtime? Do you notice you get, funky feeling if you go to bed too late or too early?
This doesn't make any sense to me, though. If you are someone who has to work an irregular shift, not like this one necessarily, but I'm thinking about the other irregular shift where you get off of work at 11 or 11:30 or midnight. Clearly, you're not going to bed at 10 o'clock or earlier. So those people are just doomed? Is that what this is saying?
That's what I was wondering.
You can't. Those people could still get 8 hours of quality sleep, or 9 or 7, whatever it is. I would think that they're still going to be okay if they get that quality amount of sleep, regardless of what time of day it is.
I found another study, and it was from 2014, and it was interesting because one of the headlines was, every hour of sleep before midnight is worth 2 after midnight.
Really?
And this
looking at the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to live forever.
This is because apparently, prior to midnight, you have more non-REM sleep, so it's deeper and just more restorative. And then after midnight, as hours get later and it gets closer to dawn, you have more REM sleep apparently, which is more dream-oriented and not as restful. So that's what this one study said. I thought it was interesting.
And it flat out says it's unfortunate for night shift workers.
Well, I wonder, what's the biggest headlines? The biggest headline is, no matter what, you should get this number of hours of sleep on a regular basis, no matter when you do it. I wonder if that's the bigger
Come on,
headline
medical studies, they're always changing.
Well,
a monthly basis.
By the way, I want to, since we're talking about sleep, if I recently started taking, for the first time in my life, a lowering cholesterol drug. So every night, before I go to bed, I take this little pill. Statin, something like that.
Oh, a statin.
Yeah. But I tell you what, it makes me dream.
Crazy dreams?
Not necessarily crazy, but just every single night. I'm not a person that typically remembers my dreams. But since I started taking this, every night, I feel like I'm just actively dreaming all night long. And I'm assuming, because it started right when I started taking this cholesterol drug. So I'm wondering if anybody else has that same effect.
Is it bothering you, or is it kind of like, well, this is different and
depends
new?
on the dream. Sometimes I wake up in a great mood. Sometimes I'm like, oh, geez.
Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting. So I just Googled that because I had never heard that before. This is not you. But this says people who take statins have reported nightmares and night terrors.
I don't have that.
Statins affect how cholesterol is made in your liver and in your brain. So it's probably that neurological piece that stimulates something.
I have cholesterol in my brain, and that explains a lot too.
Yeah, I've read before that we all dream, and we dream every night, right? You
just don't remember.
You just don't remember, but you're remembering. So to me, it seems to me that this medicine is making you sleep lighter. Therefore, you're in a light enough sleep to where you remember your dreams. Because my thought is, when you're in a heavy, deep sleep, that's why you don't remember your dreams. Because you're so out of it, you don't recall the moment when you were dreaming. Okay. But you're kind of on the edge, man.
I'm on the edge.
You're teetering on the edge of waking up with this new medicine, and therefore you're remembering your dreams quite well.
My doctor did tell me, though, that coffee is not going to harm me, so I'm...
There you go. No, I want to diagnose Rod. The other thing that you should know is that's not unusual. Vivid dreams with statins are a thing.
Mm-hmm. Not unusual. Okay.
Yeah, that's
right.
We've solved that.
Interesting. Thank you. Nothing to worry about.
I would love to bring our viewers into the mix here.
Yes, please.
That is what makes Sunrise Extra special. Sunrise Extra special because of you. We know a lot about Stanford Walker because he's been following this program, Sunrise Extra, for close to 3 years now.
Morning, Stanford.
If you had to guess Stanford Walker's bedtime, Rod Hill, what time would you guess Stanford goes to bed?
Well, he's up early. I'm going to say Stanford is in bed at no later than
9.
Wrong.
10 o'clock sharp.
Wrong. 11. Stanford says he goes to bed every night at 11, and he's up at what time?
Don't you do yoga like at Dark 100?
He's up at 4 o'clock, he says.
11? Yeah.
Why does Stanford get up at 4?
Stanford says in bed by 11, up by 4, ready to go, and full of vim and vigor.
Vim and vigor.
That I believe.
I like it. I like Colleen Mills. She says she gets in bed at 10 and she reads until 11, then she goes to sleep. I have started that habit, I don't know when, several years ago. It helped, maybe when I started the Sunrise Show, actually, because I don't want to look at the light of this, you know, and so I started reading books, 20 minutes maybe, or till maybe like 8:15 I'll read till, and then put it away and go to sleep. But it helps me, you know, your eyes start getting heavy, and then I just close it and turn the light off, and it like gets me to sleep so much nicer than just getting in bed and turning it off and then like laying there and kind of thinking. But man, I have like run through books. Just like 20 minutes a night, you know?
Yeah, that's good. I always fall asleep during them. I mean, I am on the same page of one book. I think I've been trying to get through it for 3 years. But, you know, the other thing is on my phone, I turn down the brightness at night almost all the way off. So when I do want to look at, because this is my alarm clock, it's not blinding me with that.
I still have a clock that's just where you can just get up and look at it.
I used to, but it was digital, and it was like, I don't like that it's constantly.
I do.
Because my phone is like.
Yeah, I have to have.
I like that sense of knowing what.
Because I don't want to find and then touch it and then look.
Yeah, I just want to. That's the first thing I want to know in the morning when I wake up.
That's what when we were talking about daylight savings time. Like, you guys don't have to change your clocks, like your bedside clock.
There was 3. We're down to 3 clocks.
Well, I have an old digital clock radio that's probably at least 30 years old.
So how many clocks did you have to change on Saturday night total in your house?
Well, I changed my clock radio early, and then Grayson changed the stove and the microwave in the kitchen, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're down to, I have a digital in my room. Each of the boys actually has a digital one in their room. So those. Is
there one on either of your nightstands, or you just have one?
Just the one.
Just the one.
Yes, just the one.
See, that would drive me nuts, because if it's not, it's probably on your side, because you got to get
in the
up.
middle of the room on.
Oh, okay.
What do you call it?
Because then I would be like, can you move your shoulder? I need to see the time. Like, we got to have two.
Up high across the room, where you can both see it. The car was the last thing that had to get changed. I was almost thrown off later when I got into the car on Sunday. I'm like, wait a minute, what time is it? I'm like,
but you know, mine doesn't do that automatically. No, I think my wife's Subaru does. It's a 2019.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why the flip doesn't my...
Just do it automatically?
For what you pay for those cars, that clock got to change itself.
Right. You can tell me when I'm leaving the lane. They can tell me when to start hitting my brakes, but it can't tell me what time it is.
I know, that's a problem.
Hey, you guys, Candy Pike is she's an early riser with us. She tries to be in bed by 9. She is up at 2:45.
Whoa!
Getting ready for work.
You're
of course, I usually wake up a few times each night, but 9, that's a late bedtime.
Heather Curtis says, oh, sorry, one quick here. She says she's up by 6:30 every day. My horses and chickens haven't figured out how to read time yet.
She's got to do chores, Rhonda Thompson-Jones says she's in bed by 10. She gets up at 3:30. and gets ready for work. I mean, if you feel comfortable, I'm curious what some of our
everyone
early
does,
risers
yes.
do. What time
Same.
do you have to be at work? And what do you do?
Yeah, I want more information on this Candy Pike individual. Candy, if you're up at 2:45 in the morning, like what are you doing right now at 7:15, say, that allows you to kind of hang out with us? Because I would think that you're well into your workday by now.
Maybe.
I just want to know more about you, Candy.
You know, our grandparents, they're up early. They typically, sometimes Grandma would get up like at 3 or 3:30, and she didn't have anywhere to be.
Yeah.
She was just
awake.
Grandpa Ken will wake up early and he sings. Now they live downstairs. He sings like church hymns, music, and you can hear him.
Like he's just
Singing
doing other stuff
sometimes
while
on a
singing to himself?
Saturday or Sunday morning. I don't know what he's doing down there, but he's singing. And it's early in the morning.
I'm mowing the
Do you
lawn.
stomp on the ground? Keep it down there.
Oh my gosh, sometimes on a Saturday or Sunday, Jeff and I wake up to Jaden down in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
She's like at 6, 5:30, whatever. She's making stuff.
She's in her
On a
20s.
Saturday morning.
She needs to be sleeping in,
Yell
Jaden.
down there and say, hey, woman!
No, I sleep right through it.
Can I read Noah Clark's comment?
Go ahead.
I love this comment, Noah Clark. You paint an entire picture for us here. Thank
we
you for
go.
doing that.
All right.
Close
I'm
your
imagining.
eyes, Ron.
I'm
Close my
imagining.
eyes.
I'm going to take you into Noah Clark's bedroom.
Oh.
Yes, because
Okay.
Noah Clark took us there.
Okay.
My wife and I, Noah says, start listening to podcasts around 10:30 p.m. We listen to some creepy true crime podcasts.
Ooh.
And sometimes we forget to set a sleep timer. If you do set the sleep timer, it will automatically shut off the podcast at a certain time. But when they don't do that, he'll sometimes wake up in the middle of the night to people talking in his bedroom about horrible murders. One eye will pop open, he says, and I'll scan the room out of semi-terror, then turn the podcast off and attempt at that point to fall back asleep.
No.
That's no good, Noah Clark.
No.
Wow.
My podcasts are not on autoplay. Sometimes I will do like a sleep meditation. It puts me to sleep.
My husband started listening to those. They're kind of cool.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Then it's just like it just stops.
But also, I'm just like, what? I don't know. It's a different thing, and so I'm more like tuned into it. Have you heard of that? Like Matthew McConaughey reads this in his very Matthew McConaughey voice, but just very calm. He reads this nonsensical story that goes on forever and ever and ever, and it puts you to sleep. That's the point of it, is to set you to sleep. But yeah, we listened to it one time. But I was so like, like Matthew McConaughey is talking to me. You're listening to every detail of the story.
That's
It
fine.
didn't
That's
work.
fantastic.
Kind of loud. Just have a glass of wine and go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a hard time putting stock into these sleep studies that say, 10 to 11, that's the golden hour. And because don't you think each and every one of us as individuals?
Well, it's all different.
We all need different amounts of sleep.
Yeah.
We all probably perform better if we sleep at different times of the day or night.
Yeah.
So when you get this
Well, I
golden
just don't
rule-
understand how they can say, like, this is a 25% increase in heart. I mean, our bodies are all different.
Right.
I don't know how you can just say it's sleep, that the time of bed is directly correlated to heart problems.
Well, they're always researching stuff, and they're doing it with a certain number of people. Like, I think these were between 43 and 70 something, and they get little pieces of information, and then somebody else does a study and they change it. And
if I was a normal life person, I would go to bed between 10 and 11. It would just come naturally. It's like, well, it's getting kind of late. Let's go to sleep. If you worked like a normal schedule.
Yeah.
And I would wake up right when the sun pops up.
I
What
love
time is that?
that,
7?
right?
Yeah, I think it's a magical time of day. I really
7.
do. To be outdoors, or at least to be at a window during the sunrise, and again at sunset. I just think those are magical times.
I do like having my quiet time when it's still dark, maybe an hour. Sometime being up in my house when there's nobody else up, having a little coffee, doing whatever the routine is.
So, in July, on a Saturday, that would mean getting up at like 4 a.m. if you really wanted darkness to start your day.
Try to keep myself in bed until 5.
Candy replied,
Yes,
we
she
have
did.
an
I saw
answer.
that.
She says today is her day off.
Oh.
She normally works at 4 a.m. at Target, and they're getting the Christmas department filled and ready for all you to shop. I get up early to have time for coffee and wake up time before I head to work.
Well, you don't
Candy,
think
I
about
love
that.
me some Target.
Having to be at Target to set things up at 4. So I never would have thought about that. I always find
stocking,
it fascinating to learn what people
There's so many jobs.
do for a living. Because so often it's something you never even thought about. I never thought about anybody needing to be at Target at 4 in the morning, so that's great.
How'd you think all that stuff at Target?
Yeah.
I just thought it was magically there. I thought at some point every day they went, Rod's coming tomorrow, get things ready, and it just happens.
Oh, Jennifer Tapp says she gets up at 3:30 to watch the news, draw, read, when it's quiet. I don't go to work at 8:30 a.m. I don't go to work at 8:30 a.m. I'm in bed by 9:30 to 10 at the latest and never use an alarm.
Never
She says
use
she
an
does
alarm.
get up a lot at night, though. Rarely does she get more than 4 hours of sleep.
Oh, no.
I don't even know how you do that.
Isn't that crazy? I find I'm okay with 6. If I go too many nights in a row with, by too many I mean 2, less than 6 hours, then my body is hurting. That's like a magic number for me personally. And sometimes my wife will tell me you need to get to bed early, because she can tell I'm tired, and it's a night where I do need to get a full 8 hours.
I can do anything pretty much on just a couple of hours of sleep, but it's the back end of the day that suffers, right? I mean, I could stay up all night tonight, go to bed at midnight, wake up at 2, and come in and do the show. It wouldn't be great, but I could do it. But I could really do next to nothing from like 10 a.m. on.
Yeah.
Just be a zombie. We got one great piece of advice from our pediatrician, and I'm going to share this. I know I've done this before, but it's probably been at least a year. And I think this applies to adult life as well as to children's life. But our pediatrician said the best thing you can do for your kids is make sure that you are getting their cell phones out of their rooms before they go to bed. And not just turning them off and leaving them in their room. Some people think that's the same. And I even asked the doctor, what if we just turn them off and they're completely off on the other side of the bedroom? He said, no. The device needs to be physically out of the room, and this was all based on a study they did. I forget what university conducted the study. I don't know if you remember me telling you about this before, but basically they did research with these high school and college students, and they showed great improvement in their sleep patterns, the amount of sleep they were getting, how refreshed they were the next day, and just their sense of, I want to say their stress levels were down, because this thing that kind of consumes them throughout the day, and they put so much stock in the phone and the social media feeds connected to it and all that stuff, it's out of their mind and out of their sight, and they really, it's not here, I can't worry about it, so I won't, good night. And so we do that every night. They have to, collect the phones and make sure they're not in their bedrooms, and I know that even for me, I would benefit from not having it there at an arm's length away. Because if I do wake up in the middle of the night, the first thing I typically do will be to grab that and go, oh, as long as I'm up, let me see, did Rod post anything on his weather blog last night or something? Something may.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. That's not really where I go first, but for the sake of conversation. But you know what I mean? If you know it's there, it will take your mind away from where it should be, which is sleep.
Yeah.
My phone's never, it's 3 rooms away from the bedroom.
Smart man, Rod Hill.
It's never, and just because that's where I plugged in a charger one day and I never moved it, so that's where it gets charged.
Yeah.
I wonder if that'd be disruptive to other people in the room, but those clocks that actually, as it gets closer to your wake up time, it gets like, it mimics daylight.
No, I know what you mean.
I haven't seen one of those.
And obviously, if you take the phone out of the room, you can no longer use it as your alarm clock. I mean, you're eliminating that, and that's the excuse a lot of people will give. Well, geez, I use it for my alarm. How can I take it out of my room?
Get another
You have to come up with another alarm plan. Anyways, sleep is fun.
Because we're getting down to the time, Drew, we wanted to leave time because Drew has a ask. Have you seen any of our peeps?
I have heard from 4 people that have submitted recipes thus far that I think would definitely work for our segments next week. So here's the deal, before we go to Now Sunrise Extra. If you go to my Facebook page, if you're watching us on Facebook right now, you can hop over after we say goodbye to my Drew Carney KGW TV Facebook page. There it is. And as you scroll down, the first post, the one that's pinned to the top, is that one right there with all the pictures of me in viewers' kitchens from past years when we went in and shared their best Thanksgiving recipes. I loved Jordan there with the turkey, and that was the mother.
Is Jordan coming back?
He could if I reached out to him. He would do it in a heartbeat. I'd like to get some fresh.
I like this guy. He's really
That's Greg
fun.
Broadwater.
Yeah, really fun.
Greg's a great viewer of ours and a longtime viewer who made that delicious pumpkin cheesecake. Here's the deal. Go to that post and please submit for me your favorite Thanksgiving recipe, like the go-to one that you make every year.
Right?
We want the
Not
photo
like the
and the
recipe
description.
card.
I don't know the whole recipe, but yes, a brief description of what it is, and a picture would go a long ways as well. We're going to pick a handful of these recipes, and we're going to feature them next week on our Sunrise TV show. So you can actually be the star of what we call the viewer recipe segment next week on Sunrise. But I need submissions, and I feel like a lot of times 2 things happen. Either someone says, oh, they get enough, they don't need mine. Not true. Or they go, man, I'm nervous about doing this. I don't want to be on TV. I don't want their camera in my kitchen. It's easy. It's painless. We'll make it fun. Submit your recipe, please.
You gotta do it.
It's true. I want to see some interesting, new takes on Thanksgiving food, too.
I'll tell you one I've gotten so far. Are we out of time?
Almost.
We're getting close.
You guys want to go?
You done?
No, we can be done, Brian. It's okay that you're playing music. Keep playing music. The music is a nice compliment. Pink fluff. Someone sent me a recipe for something called pink fluff.
Is that the Jell-O?
This one did not have a good description. She just said, "We make this pink fluff. Don't knock it until you try it."
Pink
she said.
fluff?
It's like
It was a woman named
like Jello, a marshmallow
situation.
I like
reached out
those
to her.
little
She's up for it.
recipes
Yeah.
There it is. Oh my gosh! Look at
I
that.
like it. That is pink fluff. I love it.
And then what's the viewer's name? My
love
eyesight
it.
is so bad.
Paula.
Paula, thank you. I sent her a message yesterday. She immediately responded. So Paula's on board for next week's
Nice.
segments.
I
I'd
like
a
it.
few more.
Okay, cool. All right,
Fluff
you guys.
anybody?
Rod's out
Hey,
here.
say goodbye to Rod's arm.
Bye. We'll see you tomorrow.
I love it. She just calls it pink fluff. I love that. Pink